Okay, so you've probably seen some of the talk around Neil Gaiman lately. A lot going on.
Yeah, it's been bubbling up for a while.
Today, we're zeroing in on something new, though. A lawsuit that he actually filed recently. It adds, well, another layer.
Exactly. So instead of just rehashing everything you might have heard, we want to really drill down into this specific legal move, what it is, and, what it might signal.
And our way into this, our main source for this deep dive is a YouTube video. It's from the John Del Arro's channel.
Right, and the title is pretty direct. Neil Gaiman's desperate attempt to silence accusers. $500 K lawsuit exposed.
Yeah, quite a title. Definitely presents a strong angle from the get-go. So our goal here is really to unpack what's in that video, look at the details they present about the lawsuit, and explore the reasons and implications they suggest.
And it's really important, like you said, this video is one specific take, a specific interpretation. We're analyzing the claims and context within that source.
Okay, let's get into it. The absolute core point.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman is suing someone who accused him of wrongdoing, and it's for a hefty sum. The figure mentioned is over $500,000.
Wow. Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting, and the video highlights this immediately. It's not a defamation lawsuit. He's not suing because he says the accusations are false and hurt his reputation.
Right, and that's a huge distinction, legally speaking. A defamation case is all about proving falsity, proving damage. It's a whole different ballgame.
Totally different. According to John Del Arro's, the host of the YouTube channel, this lawsuit is specifically for violating a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA.
Okay, so a breach of contract claim, essentially.
Exactly. And Del Arro's, he really leans into this. He calls it a crazy look and flat out suggests it reeks of a guilty conscience.
No.
Strong words.
Very strong framing. And he immediately tries to tie this NDA suit back to all the previous allegations against Gaiman. So to send his perspective, we kind of need to quickly recap those allegations as this video presents them.
Right. The video says, look, over the past year or so, allegations of sexual abuse have surfaced against Gaiman. It also claims there were, and this is the video's phrasing, payoffs involved to several of them.
Payoffs. Okay. Any specifics mentioned?
Yeah, a couple. One example given is a payment made to a fan, apparently to cover her therapy bills.
Okay, so financial support given after some kind of incident or claim is the implication there.
Yes. And then there's the situation involving a nanny. The video describes her as a homeless girl manipulated by Amanda Palmer.
Gaiman's wife at the time.
Right. And it calls it a weird grooming situation, which supposedly led to something termed the infamous bathtub incident.
Okay.
The video goes on to claim that this person is actually suing both Gaiman and Amanda Palmer right now, a civil suit for human trafficking. And importantly, it says that lawsuit is still ongoing. A motion to dismiss it failed, apparently.
Wow, okay. Human trafficking. Those are extremely serious claims, and the video is stressing that they are still active.
Then the video kind of shifts gears to talk about the fallout, the alleged impact on Gaiman's career.
Right, the professional consequence.
It says several publishers reportedly dropped him, ended their deals.
Okay.
But interestingly, it also says DC Comics, who published Sandman, his huge hit, they apparently didn't. They even did a reprint after the accusations were public.
So a mixed response from publishers, according to this source.
Yeah. And it also notes his books are still, widely available. You can go into a bookstore and find them pretty easily.
So continued market presence despite some reported breaks in publishing relationships. It's a bit complex.
It is. The video also throws in that Disney supposedly canceled a film project. And that the Sandman series on Netflix, reportedly ending, and Good Omens, his show with Terry Pratchett, that's also wrapping up.
Okay, so potential impacts in film and TV too. Though the video doesn't explicitly say why those shows are ending, just that they are ending amidst these allegations.
Correct. It implies a connection, but doesn't, definitively prove it within the video itself. Oh, and one more thing on Good Omens. There was a graphic novel Kickstarter. The video alleges there was some refusal to pay Gaiman more money from that, though it does speculate he probably got paid in advance already.
So lots of different threads there suggesting professional friction or projects concluding.
Exactly. Now let's circle back to the lawsuit Gaiman filed, the NDA lawsuit. There's one specific allegation that seems, according to the video, directly tied to this. It involves his guest house in Woodstock, New York.
Okay, the Woodstock property. What's the story there?
The video describes a woman who lived in the guest house. She was there with her husband, who worked for Gaiman as a gardener, and their kids.
Right.
Then the couple got divorced, but the video claims Gaiman let her stay on in the guest house.
Okay. Seems generous on the surface.
Well, here's the accusation presented in the video. It claims her staying there became conditional, that she allegedly had to provide sexual favors because she couldn't pay rent. The video uses this specific phrase, pay to play. and clarifies it meant she had to play because she can't pay, essentially to avoid being evicted with her daughter.
That's a very serious allegation of exploitation.
Extremely serious. And the video then states that Gaiman eventually paid this woman $275,000.
Okay, another alleged payment.
Yes, and crucially, had her sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to keep quiet about all of this.
And this is the NDA the video claims she has now violated, leading to Gaiman's lawsuit against her.
That's exactly the connection the video draws. It frames the NDA itself as something used to silence an alleged victim of exploitation.
Which leads right into De La Rosa's analysis of why Gaiman would file this NDA lawsuit now.
Yep, he really questions the timing and the motive. He kind of ticks off potential reasons and dismisses them, like, does Gaiman need the money?
Probably not from this defendant, he suggests, who likely doesn't have $500.
Right. Is it to prove his innocence? Well, no, because it's not a defamation suit. It's about the NDA contract. It doesn't legally address the truth of the underlying claim.
So the host filters out those possibilities and lands on what he sees as the only logical reason left on the table.
And according to the video, that primary speculated reason is basically deterrent, to scare off other potential accusers.
The chilling effect argument.
Exactly. Create fear. Send a message. If you speak out, even if you signed an NDA under duress, you could face a huge, costly lawsuit yourself.
So the lawsuit itself becomes a tool for silence in this interpretation.
That's the argument.
Yeah?
De La Rosa calls it a bad optic for Gaiman and asks, essentially, why would he be so afraid of that information coming out if this is the strategy?
It's a pointed question based on his interpretation.
The video also points out that, hey, this isn't just him talking about it. Vulture magazine also reported on this lawsuit.
Okay, so acknowledging other media coverage.
And it underlines that Gaiman is now juggling two lawsuits, the human trafficking one against him and this NDA violation suit by him.
A complex legal picture for sure.
So the video's conclusion, the bottom line from John De La Rosa, is that the only possible rational explanation, his words, for Gaiman filing this specific NDA lawsuit is to shut down anyone else who might be thinking of coming forward. Silent.
A very definitive conclusion drawn from the analysis presented in the video.
Right. So just to quickly recap where we've been, we looked at this new lawsuit Gaiman filed against an accuser. It's not for defamation, but for allegedly breaking an NDA, and it's for over $500,000.
And we touched on the background provided in the source video, the earlier allegations of sexual abuse, the mentions of payoffs, that ongoing human trafficking lawsuit against him and Amanda Palmer.
We also covered the alleged career impacts publishers, projects ending, though the direct links aren't always explicit in the source. And then the specific Woodstock guesthouse allegation, the claim of required sexual favors, the $275K payment, and the signing of that NDA.
And finally, the core argument presented by the UT that this NDA lawsuit isn't about money or proving innocence, but primarily about silencing this accuser and, maybe more importantly, deterring any other.
So considering just the information laid out in this particular YouTube video, the provocative thought it leaves you with is, what does this kind of legal strategy suing over an NDA breach in this context potentially signal about the whole situation?
Yeah, and what could the ripple effects be? What message might it send to other people, whether involved in the situation or entirely separate ones, who might have signed NDAs under difficult circumstances?
It definitely raises questions. Now, remember, this deep dive focused entirely on the perspective and information presented in that one YouTube video by John De La Rosa.
Absolutely. It's just one viewpoint. To really get a full picture, we always encourage you, the listener, to look for more reporting, different analyses, and gather information from various sources to form your own informed understanding. This is a really complex story still unfolding.